Okay, everyone, we are live. It is July 5th. I hope everybody had an awesome 4th of July. I know we did. And if you can't tell, I'm in Bethany Beach, Delaware, hence the lovely wall decor behind me. My kids are 7 and 8, so we're in prime time here for beach days and 4th of July. So I hope everyone had a good one. This is part of our speaker series where we're getting to know some of the more than 300 speakers coming to Voice Summit from around the world. And today we're talking with Mark Tucker. Mark is he has done something really special. He's developed an open source speech markdown that we're going to chat about here in a second. But he's also, one of our many speakers. Mark, good morning. Nice to see you.
Hey, good morning to you. It's nice to meet you, Pete.
So I guess first and foremost, tell us a little bit about you, your day job, and then let's talk about Speech Markdown as well.
Great. So I'm a technologist. I've been a software developer and architect for more than 20 years, mostly on Microsoft technologies. But then 3-4 years ago, I started to do this voice technology thing. I came across Alexa, got excited about what it could possibly do, and just started going. And part of that process, I was selected by Amazon as an Alexa champion. I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and just really enjoy getting out into the voice community. It's a great family of developers and designers and other people that are interested.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
It's just been awesome. And so the last 2 months, I'm working at a company called Soar.com. And what we focus on at Soar is that everybody has their own unique strengths. And with those strengths, you can lead. And so we're trying to bring voice technology into that space and work with our partners with their content to bring it out onto these voice platforms.
Very cool. So you're involved in voice at Soar, but let's talk a little about Speech Markdown and how that came into being, and the exciting news that it's out there now for others to take advantage of.
Okay, so when you're writing voice content, whether as a developer, designer, or some other content author, you can just type in text and the text-to-speech will happen. But you can influence that, how those voices can speak that text using some sort of a formatting language. The way that you do that today is something called SSML, which is Speech Synthesis Markup Language. It's been around for a while, and it uses XML syntax. It's kind of similar to how you would hand code HTML. Mm-hmm. But for the vast majority of people who put content out on the web, they don't type HTML, they use something else. And in some of the cases, they use something called Markdown. Well, Speech Markdown is a similar concept for voice technology. So it's a simpler syntax than just SSML, but there's also another challenge when it comes to coding with the different formatting language of SSML, is because the different platforms implement the specification differently, not completely, mm-hmm. sometimes differently, and sometimes they have their own tags in. So what Speech Markdown is a layer where you can code it once in Speech Markdown, and then there's a translation, a formatting layer where you can have it changed into the specific flavor of SSML based on which platform you're on.
That's great. So how does somebody access Speech Markdown? Where can they find it, and how do they make use of it?
Okay, so out on the web, you can go to speechmarkdown.org. That's the main website. You'll be able to understand, what is Speech Markdown? Why does it exist? How did it came about? And there's also a number of open source projects that are under this umbrella of Speech Markdown. One of them is the specification itself. That's open source. It can be used by other programmers who want to implement the specification in whatever programming language that they want, whether it be Python or .NET or whatever else that they want to implement that in. There's a project, speechmarkdown.js, which is available for Node.js. So whether you're coding in the Alexa Skills Kit or Jovo or something that's whatever you would use for doing Google Assistant development. If you're doing it in JavaScript, there's a project where you can type in Speech Markdown and run it through this layer, and it will translate that into SSML. That actually, pretty excited that I released a video on that yesterday. That I got it working.
Oh, great!
on the web. There's a JS Fiddle where you can go out and type in one text box in Markdown and get the result in SSML. So there's other things that are going on behind the scenes with that, and then there's a couple of other projects. But come to the website and figure out what's out there, and come join us and help us out to implement Speech Markdown.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you'll be speaking about this at Voice Summit. So for those of you who have not visited the website yet, voicesummit.ai, the event takes place in 2 weeks from Monday, July 22nd through 25th. This is the largest voice event in the world. As I said at the top of the interview, we have more than 300 speakers. In fact, I think we're going to end up with north of 400 speakers coming from 25 countries. Everything from development to design, marketing, strategy, all around the voice first era. Mark, what would you tell somebody that didn't quite understand what this space is all about? You might find yourself in those conversations with people on kind of a day-to-day basis that the world is changing before our eyes, yet it seems to be happening under the radar for a lot of folks.
Yeah, so voice technology has grown so fast in the last couple of years, even since I joined along. And what voice technology is going to allow us to do is just have the convenience of being able to access something with our voice. So I think about it along the terms of think, say, done. You think about it, you say it, and it's done. You walk into a room, it's dark, you say, turn on the lights are on. You're driving in the car, you're like, oh no, I need to make a dentist appointment. You speak to your voice assistant in your car, you schedule a dentist appointment. You are making breakfast, you ran out of eggs, you add eggs to your shopping cart. But all
right.
While the fact that you're doing something, you're having a conversation with somebody. You get in like, well,
right.
Who did this song or whatever? You ask Alexa, she joins into the conversation, gives you an answer. You
right.
keep continuing on with the conversation. So it's not looking down, it's not typing, but it's just the convenience and of just being able to think about it, say it, and it's done.
Yeah, and it seems like some companies are really getting ahead of the curve and really understand that conversational design and interfaces, whether it's a chatbot, a speech app, or multimodal, some companies really seem to be ahead of the curve. Others are kind of maybe, deer in headlights might be a good way to put it. But I think that, the thing that we see is that this is going to change pretty much everything we do. We just bought some new appliances for our kitchen, and I wanted to make sure that they had voice enablement. And, so it's kind of interesting, it's impacting large purchases. We interviewed Mercedes-Benz last week, and, the voice capabilities is a feature, is a key feature for them in their A-Class, one of their top end cars. And they advertise that in the Super Bowl. So it's an exciting time. And I think that it's really cool to see folks like you working on the tools that are going to make it even better. And your talk is going to be on Tuesday at the conference. So on the 23rd, and I believe the time is 3 to 3:45.
Yeah, so I would love to have people come join the conversation and just let's talk about where Speech Markdown is, kind of the history of how it came about and where it's going. I think that there's been a lot of interest in the last 2 weeks since it's been released as open source, where people have given me a lot of good feedback about it, and even talking about implementing it in their own product or framework. And so I think there's just lots of things that are happening. I'm so excited about it. I think this might be the most important thing I may ever contribute to the voice community, and I'm just excited to be able to share it.
I think you're right. I think that there's once people understand what it is and how it's going to help them develop across platforms, I think it could pick up very quickly. I expect us. I already know that next year we'll have, many sessions on Speech Markdown, and really looking forward to that. So, Mark, thanks for what you're doing to contribute to the community, and thanks for coming to Voice Summit as well. Look forward to seeing you in Newark. And where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Arizona, and this is my first time. I missed out on the conference last year, and I really felt like I was missing out. So I'm excited to be there. and to just be contributing to the conversation.
There was a little FOMO, but you know what? It's great. We're going to have we're already having tremendous growth over last year, and mostly we just look forward to seeing this community come together and move this industry along. So, Mark, thanks again. For those of you out there, again, the website is voicesummit.ai. Tickets start at a very affordable rate. If you want to understand anything about this space, it's this exciting new space. If you have an Alexa in your home, if you own a small business, if you work for a major company, now is the time to really understand how this industry is going to shape a lot of what we do. So, and if you're a student, we have scholarships available. Check it out. Or if you're in transition and need economic assistance, you can apply for a scholarship at the website as well. We want everybody to be represented at Voice Summit. So this is Pete Erickson. Mark, it's been great chatting with you, and we'll see you in Newark.
All right, thanks. See ya.